Good afternoon, Dr. Syuhaida. Can you hear my voice, Doctor? Dr. Syuhaida? Okay.
Yes, you are loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. We will start our event about 4 minutes again. So please, to all participants, kindly wait. Okay, since already 2 p.m., I think we will start our agenda now. But can you already hear me now, Dr. Syuhaida?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Um, Wait, I will check it first. Wait for a minute. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the International Perspective webinar series. And my name is Chacha, and today I will accompany you along today's event. So today we will learn and also discuss about nature positive engineering practices at Malaysia's port towards carbon neutrality. And today we will have speaker from University Technology Malaysia. Okay, but before we start our agenda, I will remind all of the participants to open your camera and also to use our filter background that are provided and also can be downloaded on the chat box. Okay, so next, before we start our agenda, I will try to explain a bit about our event. So this is the project introductions from our event. So the International Perspective webinar series is a series of international online knowledge lectures jointly led by the CMO TED, China ASEAN Technical Education Cooperation, and co-hosted by International Youth Culture and Education and Go Study. The program is expected to invite 1 to 2 school faculty members to give webinars each month, aiming to enhance and enrich the growth of knowledge and broaden the horizons of learners in the Southeast Asian region by inviting experts from different countries and fields to provide high quality and universalizable online lectures that will help learners to acquire specialized knowledge through knowledge sharing and cross-cultural understanding. Okay, and next.
Chacha, sorry to interrupt, but your slide haven't moved, I think.
Oh, okay, sorry. Wait, let me share it again. Thank you so much, Rifda, for reminding me. Okay, then how about now?
Okay, now it works.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I can next. For today's event, we will have Dr. Syuhaida bin Ismail as our speaker. She is an associate professor from University Technology Malaysia, and she also the recipient of prestigious awards such as the Inspiring Mentor Award by the Malaysia Board of Technologies on 2025 and the WFEO Degree Women in Engineering Prize under UNESCO on 2024. And she also a former director of research and acting director general at Maritime Institute of Malaysia. And her professional field is on sustainability, environmental management, engineering, and also sustainable practices. We also already have Dr. Syuhaida in the Zoom. So, Dr. Syuhaida, how are you today?
Not so good. Fever since yesterday night. But after seeing you, Chacha, and also another 32 participants, I hope I can perform well as per your expectation today. I
Yeah, I hope so.
go
Okay,
off.
get well soon, ma'am. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Miss. I will always support you along the event. Okay, so yeah, for today's event, we will have Dr. Syuhaida as our speaker, and after this, I will let Dr. Syuhaida to share a screen. So for Dr. Syuhaida, you have about 70 minutes to present, and the time and screen is yours. Thank you so much.
Dr. Syuhaida, I think you are still muted. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Rifda, for being so alert and being the speakers and the ears for us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rifda. Okay, thank you so much to the organizer for inviting me. This is in fact the second time they invited me. However, the first time I really have to turn down the invitation due to the other commitment. So basically, as mentioned by Chacha just now, yes, my area of research, my area of publication, my area of teaching are basically related to those in sustainability. However, my main area is actually civil engineering plus project and construction. Basically, my degree, master's degree, and also PhD was on project and construction management. However, since the last 3 years and so, I was seconded to an organization under the Ministry of Transport, which is called Maritime Institute of Malaysia. We are the advisor for the Ministry of Transport related to ports. This is where I have expanded my area of research rather than only civil, building, structural, into a new area of ports, maritime, marine. So this is something that I would like to open your eyes, since I believe that you guys are, some of you are still students, yeah, some of you are probably academicians, senior, or be it senior or junior, where there is an opportunity, even though it's beyond your comfort zone, okay, at your age. This year I'll be 45, okay, inshallah I'll be 45. So at your age, with the capacity that you have, with the opportunity that God gave to you, there must be a reason why God give me the offer. Hey, Syuhaida, don't be too complacent in civil engineering. Let's go into this maritime thingy. I took that opportunity, I took that challenge, and now I am also one of the expert in port and maritime. Okay, that's where I embarking my journey on ports and also maritime. And for your information, being a civil engineer with that engineering background and engineering mindset, this is where I think, okay, usually when you talk about ports or when you talk about maritime, it's quite rare for the speakers. I'm talking about the speakers. They might be the expert in this area, but they are not that keen to share, or they don't have that opportunity to share, okay, their view on that. So I was thinking, okay, why not I also embark on another, I add in another, a pinch of salt into my port area, into my port expertise with that engineering. Okay, that's where I come up with this title, Nature Positive Engineering Practices, which I took from my civil engineering experiences into the port day-to-day operation, with the title Nature Positive Engineering Practices at Malaysia's Port Towards Carbon Neutrality. So basically, as you can see, these topics are it's a combination of various areas of what I have been into since the past 20 years in this career. Okay. So currently I'm with the University of Technology Malaysia under the Malaysia-Japan International Institute of Technology. As you can see here, it's a they call it as consortium of 36, if I'm not mistaken, 36 to 45 universities in Japan, which we do research, we do teaching, we do co-publication, yeah, together within these two countries. And we also open for collaboration with you guys. I've heard just now someone was from Nigeria, Philippines. Yeah, maybe we can do some collaboration after this. Yeah, not only within engineering, maritime, marine. I hope we can explore more, because as you can see here, it's International Institute of Technology. Anything under the roof of technology, we can do it, inshallah. Okay? Remember, it's the opportunity for you to explore. Okay, since I think I couldn't see any name from Malaysia. Is there anyone from Malaysia? Zakbar Saban, maybe from Malaysia. Dayang, maybe from Malaysia. Yep, I'm Halil Adam, maybe from Malaysia, but Malaysians, Bruneian, and also Indonesian, and also Singapore, we more or less share the same name, Rafizan Fatih Ahmad. But anyway, just a bit of introduction on Malaysia overview when we talk about our coastline, since I'll be talking about the ports. So we are actually comprising of two regions, yeah, with a total area of 330 kilometers square. And we have the EEZ, the exclusive economic zone. I was made understood that you guys are from various background, not necessarily from maritime, not necessarily from engineering, not necessarily from, is that so, Chacha? What is their background? I
Um,
hope I'm,
yeah, my background is actually business, miss.
how about the rest? Are they of a different background?
Yeah, yeah. This is because very general. Yeah, they're
So
coming from all of nature.
I hope whatever I'm going to deliver today is easily understood by in layman terms. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
the exclusive economic zone occupies approximately 550,000 of the sea, and the distance between these two area was actually approximately 650 kilometers. Yeah. And as you can see here, the West Malaysia on the left, okay, the coastline is even shorter than the right. Even though on the right, that is the East Malaysia, we have only two states, that is Sabah and Sarawak. Whereas on the left, we have 11 states. But in terms of the coastline, it is dominated by the East Malaysia at 198,160 kilometers square. Okay, the coastline is of course longer at 2,600 kilometer. Yeah. So I'll be very quick here. I don't know how can I delete this. I don't want to have, okay. So, I believe that many of the participants here are from ASEAN countries, yeah, similar to Indonesia, similar to Philippines, yeah, in some other ASEAN countries. Malaysia is the heaven for marine biodiversity. So we have more than 500 species, okay, within our water areas. And the most dominant, I would say, is the coral. And even in comparison with Indonesia, for example, we have only 42 islands and 32 marine parks gazetted as the marine protected areas, or in maritime marine research, we call it as MPA. Yeah? So, when we talk about marine protected areas, it's just not about fishing. Yeah, it's about mangroves, bird sanctuaries, marine parks, wetlands, yeah, wildlife, so on and so forth. Where 50% of our marine protected areas are actually the mangroves. Yeah, and when we do the port development or the port expansion, this is where the mangroves are the most impacted. Yeah. So what does it mean by port development or port expansion? Yeah, it's about development, expansion. It's about how you upgrade or enlarge the port facilities. It could be in terms of increasing the volumes. You have to accommodate larger vessels, larger ships. Yeah, or probably improving your port infrastructure. For instance, you want to have that digitalization infrastructure, for instance, or you have to build a new facilities like EV charging for whatever we call it as land transport to accommodate the transportation from the ports to the let's say to the train station. Yeah, so these are the variables necessary to meet the demand, especially when we talk about the increasing global trade. Yeah, and it's also of course to optimize the performance and the efficiency of the logistics supports, and eventually would impact the economic growth. Yeah, so when we talk about the upgrading or enlarging the port facilities, it's typically involves the construction, the deepening of navigation channel, the expansion, the installation, which these are all we call as very heavy construction processes. Yeah. And in fact, we know why this expansion and development are necessary. They are mandatory. Some are said are mandatory because they are currently 90. We know that they are 90%. Okay, the statistics shows that 90% of the global trade volume was actually transported by the sea. It's not by air. It's not by land. 90% was transported by the sea, through the sea. Yeah. So this is where it is important to have this port expansion and port development. Yeah. However, we need to remember when you develop or you expand the port, the ecosystem will be disturbed. This is where it is important to balance the development or the expansion with the ecological preservation. This is where the topic comes in. I'll give you one example. This was happened in China. Okay, they have this waste, yeah, port operational waste. This port was actually receiving waste, yeah, across China. Yeah. However, these toxic chemicals eventually go into the sea. Yeah. Go into the ocean. It threatens the marine life and also, of course, the food chains. And you just imagine this fish, okay, who has been threatened, who has been in touch with this chemical reaction and then eaten by us. Okay, over the years, what happened to our health, okay, and well-being? So this is where we need to also see how many people, how many population in the world are actually relying on fish. Okay, a study by WWF shows that over 3 billion people rely on seafood as a primary source of the protein, including me, including you. I believe that many ASEAN countries, since we are also surrounded by the sea, of course, our main seafood resource is the fish from the sea. Okay. On top of that, let's look into what are the threats offering, okay, by the ports and also shipping activities. Yeah? Currently, okay, the maritime shipping emits 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide annually. Yeah. And even though it's not that much in terms of the percentage of our shipping emission, yeah, to the global, that is at only 2.9%, not that much compared to, for instance, manufacturing or probably oil and gas activities or even construction industry. It's even of higher. Construction industries in terms of the CO2 global emission was at 40%. Okay, it's just small, 2.9%. However, remember, 90% of the world trade are actually transported by the sea. So, on the other hand, if there is no decisive intervention being undertaken to tackle this problem, this 2.9% will be expanded to 17% in the next 24 years. You just imagine, in the next 24 years, yeah? And let's talk something beyond carbon, okay? Um, we do also have the noise pollution, which we can't really notice that, yeah, because only the mammals, because these are actually the impact of noise pollution rather than the ecosystem, the underwater ecosystem, including the marine mammal, it also disrupts the navigation. Okay, while 10 billion tons of ballast water yearly transfer. Okay, this is something new probably because I don't think there are anyone with the shipping or maritime background here. Okay, just a bit of what does it mean by ballast water. Okay, ballast water is actually the wastewater. It's not really the wastewater. Okay, when a ship, okay, I'll just make it a layman. Okay, let's say this is a ship. Okay, a ship is voyaging, okay, is moving, okay, just use a normal one, is moving from one country to another, okay. Let's say it's from country A, okay. In country A, okay, when the ship is about to move, okay, they have all this cargo, whatever, on the body or on the body of the ship. In order to ensure that the ship, the vessel is in balanced condition, they need to add in water to the hull or to the stomach of the ship. Okay, add in the water. The water is, of course, from the sea. Okay, to make sure there is a balance between the on top and the one under the water. Okay, so when they took the water from that country A, let's say, I'll just give you an example. Let's say in that water A, okay, there is a population of these aquatic species called piranha. Okay, piranha fish, okay, for example, okay, just example. Okay, piranha fish. So when from the voyage from this, let's say this ship voyage, okay, that is the ballast water, yeah, the water comes in into the hull of the ship. So when this ship voyage from point A, country A, with that piranha species as their local species, to another point after, let's say, 14 days to another state, okay, another country. And then once they wanted to take out or transfer the cargo on the land, okay, they need also at the same time to take out the ballast water, to remove the ballast water. Okay, so the ballast water, remember what is inside the ballast water? When they pull in the ballast water, it includes the piranha. Remember, the piranha, after 14 days, probably, I don't know, maybe it's just a baby piranha. Now it becomes a bigger sister piranha, probably. So this piranha will go up, will be invading into the country B waters. What happened to the local waters? The local species. Okay, so this is where I put here, while 10 billion tons of ballast water yearly have transferred 7,000 invasive aquatic species. We are talking about species. We're not talking about the numbers. Just now I was talking about one species, that is the piranha. Okay, you just imagine 7,000 different species from one country to another. And it will, of course, disturb the whole ecosystem of the water in a specific country. Yeah. You see here, it's 7,000 invasive aquatic species, or sometimes we call as alien species, hourly, daily. You just imagine, hourly, daily, in times 24. Okay, and another critical role is when we talk about, the global vessel traffics, and um, we also have some disruption, for instance, the Red Sea and Suez, when they have disruption, it will cause the vessels to voyage of a longer route. Okay, instead of having only, let's say, 5 days, it will be extended between 10 to 14 days because they have to take a longer route extending Asia, Europe. And this, of course, when you take a longer route, you will need extra fuel and, of course, increase the emission by 42% due to these route diversions. However, there are some policies that drive the shippers, yeah, or the maritime industry players on why they start looking into these invasive species, into the emission, into the importance of sustainability, into the the numbers of GHG emission will be increased in the next 24 years. And so these are what drives their awareness into this. Yeah? You need to also look into your current industries, into your current field, whether there is something like some challenges that you are also facing like us in the maritime industry, and whether they are pushing factors that make this becomes your major or your focus of challenge, yeah, to be faced throughout the whatever pathways that they have designed. Okay, for us, number one, if of course the IMO 2020. IMO is the United Nations agency that is dedicated for maritime and shipping. We call it an international maritime organization. They govern, basically they govern the maritime industries worldwide. So whenever they come out with the specific laws or regulation, or we call it as convention, usually as a country, the member state, we need to abide with that. We need to follow whatever regulations that has been stipulated. And for this case, in 2020, IMO come out with the convention that the sulfur oxide emission must be reduced to 0.5%. Okay, before that it was 3.5%. So it must be reduced. This is something that, if you're not reduced, you will be penalized. So this is where the shippers, the ship liners, okay, they put the effort to reduce the emissions. Number two, recently, last 2 years, IMO come up with this IMO revised GHG strategy. So they set this, okay, by 2030, we need to reduce the GHG emission by 20 to 30%. And then by 2040, 70 to 80%. And finally, net zero by 2050. What does it mean by net zero? Net zero, it's not really means that, means 0%. We don't emit GHG at all. That is impossible. Yeah, that is very, very, very impossible. So what you can do is, what does it mean by net zero is that, okay, let's say you yes.
Oh, sorry, miss. I will try to mute it.
Okay. I thought there is a question because, Chacha, if there is a question at the chat box, you can just ask me because I can't really see the chat box.
Yes, yes. I will help you on the Q&A session, miss, to
Ah,
read all the questions later.
okay. Sorry.
Continue, miss.
Okay. So, where were we just now? Oh, net zero means, let's say, okay, I'll give you, for example, layman. Let's say you have cut 100 trees. Okay. When you cut these 100 trees because you want to construct your house. Okay. So the net zero means you need to replant another 100 trees. Okay. What does it mean by net zero? Whatever negative impact that you have done to the environment, you have to replace it with something positive. Okay. That is what meant by net zero. And then at Malaysia perspective, we have the Malaysia's National Energy Policy, where we put the LNG, the liquefied natural gas, as the bridge fuel. Remember, LNG still produce sulfur oxide, still produce GHG because it's not yet a green fuel. But we try, that's why we call as the bridge fuel. Okay, we are about to go to green, but still slow lah. Slow. Okay, so it's a bridging fuel to bridge towards attaining the green mission. Yeah. So we put the aim, okay, under the Malaysia National Energy Policy, we'll use the LNG from 0% to 25%. Okay, because LNG, even though it's not that heavy fossil fuel. Okay, it's still fossil but not that heavy. Means the emission is less compared to the other fossil fuel. Okay, and then a year later, under the National Energy Transition Roadmap in 2023, we said that, okay, on top of LNG, now we'll use the biofuel. Biofuel is the green fuel. And then the upcoming one, we have the green bunkering. Okay, what does it mean by bunkering? Bunkering is basically you put in the fuel put in the fuel into your vessels. The process of adding the fuel into the vessel. Okay? So green bunkering regulation roadmap, the natural gas roadmap, as you can see here, natural gas. So means it's a green energy, and also national action plan on the GHG as to achieve this one. Okay, to achieve the reduction of this one. And on top of that, in Malaysia, we do have the new industrial master plan. Unfortunately, this is only for Malaysian company. We provide the tax allowance, the tax exemption. If you have all this green investment or green income or green technology that you provide throughout your projects, you can get this allowance exemption and also financing scheme. Okay, next, Malaysia carbon. Since my topic is about Malaysia's carbon neutrality, so let's look into how neutral you look into decarbonization. Yeah. So we aim to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. Again, what does it mean by carbon neutrality? It's similar, more or less similar to the net zero just now. 100, let's say 100 trees you have cut, you must replace it. You have to replant another 100 trees. Yeah. So this is aligned with the 12 Malaysia Plan. Currently, we are at the 13 Malaysia Plan. And of course, by Paris Agreement, which I believe that each of your countries abide into this Paris Agreement. And then, and Malaysia, as you see just now, where is it? Here. Okay, here, this is Singapore, underneath there. Whenever they want to cross from the left, from the, let's say, from United States, let's say they want to go to the Asian part, ASEAN part, you must cross underneath, under here. Okay, Singapore. Okay, here, Tanjung Pelepas, Johor Port. And this is where I put it in this statement as Malaysia's port handles significant maritime trade because most of the ships, whenever they want to cross these two worlds, they must go through Malaysia ports. Yeah. And of course, as I shared just now, the IMO, they have come up with the GHG reduction by 2030, by 2070, by 2050. So this is where we need to do something. And for your information, every year you can check this Lloyd list, 100 ports. The list is updated every year. And this is the first year that Malaysia Port, which is Port Klang, is listed as the top 10 out of that 100 most performing ports in the world in terms of how many vessels come in, the volumes, the intake, the throughput. So maybe you can check which of your maybe country's ports, whether they are listed. Yeah? And as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the top 10 are actually from China. 1 from Singapore, 2 from Southeast Asia, which is Singapore and also Portland. And we do have Busan, Korea, and also Dubai. Yeah? And the carbon neutrality, about the sustainability in marine ports, maritime shipping is also listed in being mentioned in our National Transport Policy 2019-2030. How about your country? Like for us, when we talk about the policy, okay, it's approximately 10 years. Yeah, the duration is 10 years. Like this is actually from 2020 to 2030. Yeah. And for our transport policy, it's not only covering the ship, but also the road and also the rail and the air. Yeah? So, and if you look at our National Transport Policy 2019-2030, we have 5 trusts and 23 strategies. You can always Google this, which you can find it. Okay. Amongst all, we were talking about the green transportation. Okay, again, it's not only for, even though there's a car, okay, it's not only for car, it's also for ships, also for airlines, yeah, which amongst all aimed at reducing the GHG emission, yeah. Even we put here enhancing the connectivity. Why is it important to have a smooth connectivity? When you can shorten when you can increase the productivity, you can increase the efficiency of the transportation without delay, okay, there are a lot more that we can save, not only the time but also the GHG emission. Yeah. And when we talk about the ports, since the topic that was given to me is basically on the ports of Malaysia, the practices of what we've been doing, which maybe you can replicate in your own country, we do have some green port policies. Yeah. Chacha, how many minutes do I have, Chacha?
Yes, miss.
How many minutes total? 70? 70 or 60?
How many words? Sorry.
How many minutes do I have to talk?
Oh, 70 minutes. So I think until 3:10.
Okay. Thanks, Chacha. Okay, so this is some of the green port policies in Malaysia. Currently, we do have 7. I'm just talking about the federal ports. Federal ports are those directly under the Ministry of Transport. We do have some private ports, individual ports, which I'm not covering it. Yeah, so the every single ports, every single federal ports, yeah, they do have their green port policies. Okay, so I'll just be sharing some of the prominent one. Yeah, like the Johor, Port Klang, and Penang. Yeah. The Johor is the one close to Singapore. Port Klang is the one listed in the 10 top 10 most performed, most productive ports, and also Penang. Penang is close to Medan, yeah, I think. Sorry, I'm so bad at geography. Johor, Port Klang, and Penang, they focus on the environmental sustainability, very much on green, yeah. In terms of how they can make green their port operations and also development. On the other hand, Bintulu, Kuantan, and Kemaman, they look into smart port. When you talk about the smart port, it's about how they engineer their facilities, their infrastructure to become smart. And this is where, of course, we talk about digitalization, or you talk about the AI, or what else? IoT, it needs money, a lot of investment. However, there is one term, one specific principle that you can adopt that are not actually requiring a lot of fund. That is what we call as the nature positive engineering. It means that whatever engineering solution that you add in, you inject, you make it harmonized with the nature. That is what we call as the nature positive engineering. I'll give you one example. Even though Penang, okay, because just now I said what? Even though Johor, Port Klang, and Penang, they are not really into the smart ports, but they do have the nature positive engineering. Okay, Penang ports, for the green port policy, they come out with the reduce the carbon footprint. Yeah, they reduce the energy efficiency, they reduce the waste. No, they increase the energy efficiency, they reduce the waste, and they increase the initiatives in habitat conservation. And they also electrify the cargo handling equipment, meaning rather than having total reliance on the manual resources. Okay, they electrify, and of course this electrification is sourced from the solar. And also because of this is I give you a very clear example here, mangrove restoration. This is a very good example of the net zero initiative, the carbon neutrality initiative. They have cut trees in order to increase the to install the solar panel, for example, to do the infrastructure. So they restore the mangrove project, but it's not necessarily that the mangrove is being restored within the Penang port area. It's not necessarily. Okay, as long as you replant the mangroves, it's okay. Yeah. And then they also have the early monitoring in terms of the forecast, the GHG port emission, yeah, through the IoT monitoring. Yeah. So let's say this year they have forecasted that they have how many ton. So next year it is forecasted because of the number of vessels come in, how productive they are. So they will forecast on how much GHG that will be emitted. So they come up with this net zero or carbon neutrality efforts, as I aforementioned. Okay. Let's look into some of the environmental challenges facing. I believe this is not only for Malaysian ports, also many ports in the world, including probably your ports. Yeah, operational pollution, of course. Yeah, the carbon emissions, the habitat disruption. The more you expand your ports, the more habitat is being disrupted. The ecosystem degradation, for instance, the carbon sinks, the biodiversity. Sometimes when you change the ecosystem, the structure, let's say you deepen the water, you deepen the sea, okay, it will impact the wave patterns, for example, yeah, and this could become the source of whatever natural disaster that would come in, yeah. And for instance, I put here, Malaysian forests currently sequester approximately 65%, means it's actually netting zero 65% of the GHG emission. So another 35%, the burden is actually on the shoulders of the maritime industries players to cover. And also there are regulatory pressures, not only from the IMO, but also from other parts of the world. Sometimes there are national regulation that mandates the shippers or the ship liners to achieve certain KPIs, or otherwise they will be penalized. Okay, I'd like to share one of the quote by this person. It says that he was the Antonio Guterres. I think he was the IMO SecGen, I think. He says that sustainable ocean management could help the ocean produce as much as 6 times more food. If you manage your ocean effectively, efficiently, the ocean can produce 6 times more food and generate 40 times more renewable energy than it currently does. What are the renewable energy from the sea? Maybe I can get some. Chacha? Maybe I can get some from the chat.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I would like to get some info from the because this is, I think everyone can answer, even you from business from can answer, Chacha. Okay, let's look into the question. Okay, now let me explain here. He says that when you manage your ocean efficiently, okay, the ocean can produce 6 times more food and also can generate 40 times more renewable energy. So what are the renewable energies that comes from the sea, from the ocean? Anyone? Maybe anyone? Can you give your answer here in the chat, or maybe you can just switch on your
Yeah,
um
you guys can just comment on the chat
you can
box.
ask ChatGPT. I know most of you would ask ChatGPT. I'm okay. What do you think?
Some
Hi,
of
Miss.
them,
What's your question?
Yeah, tidal. Yeah, sorry, who's that? Tidal waves. Okay, great.
yeah,
Tidal waves. Okay, what else? What else? Just now someone was asking me, who's that? Any
okay.
other wave? Yeah, only wave. Other than hydro. Okay, hydro. What else? Anything else?
Tidal, hydro,
Uh,
what else?
solar, of course. Okay, you can get from solar. Okay,
Yeah.
to the offshore. Okay, what else? Maybe you can search something called OTEC. 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 Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion. It's actually from the differences of temperature, okay, of the sea between day and night. The difference of this temperature is actually generating the energy. That's another topic. Chacha, you need to invite me for another talk, 1 hour and a half.
Okay, I will take note of this.
Yes, somewhere. It's OTAC, okay? That is a very interesting one. That is very much engineering, okay? But let's don't talk about it here. Otherwise, you will be
Yeah, we
still,
can talk
yeah,
another
otherwise we'll
topic.
stay here until night. Okay. Okay, so now let's look into the, hang on, I need to close this thing. I don't like to have this. How can I? Mm, mm, mm. Okay, I don't know how to do this. Okay, so this is the need analysis, yeah, means why is it necessarily for us to have that the this Oh, sorry. I think it's here. This one done here. Okay, the need analysis. Why do we need all this environment, positive engineering, nature-based solutions? Yeah, we have limited capacity. Yeah, however, at the same time, we have to accommodate larger vessels. Yeah, and the channel depth, the depth of the sea also need to be sufficient to cover the depth of the huge size of the vessels. That's why not so much vessels can, you cannot say, why Tanjung Priok? Is there any Indonesian? Yeah, Chacha, you have Tanjung Priok. Tanjung Priok is one of your most performing ports in Indonesia. Okay, you might be asking me, why don't they just stop at Tanjung Priok? Why they stop in Port Klang? Or maybe, I'm not sure, maybe because of the depth of Tanjung Priok channel is not as deep as Port Klang. That's why larger vessel, they would rather stop in Port Klang rather than Tanjung Priok, for example. Okay, and of course, delays and inefficiency. Maybe if they stop, I give you example Singapore lah, is easier. Is there any Singaporean here?
Is there anyone from Singapore?
Huh. Okay. As I said just now, Singaporean port is number 2, right? So they are very, very, very efficient. Sometimes when the ports, when the ship, they say, oh, I want to stop here. Okay. But okay, let's say you're driving a car and you want to fill in your fuel, and suddenly at the gas station, you see so many cars queuing to fill in the fuel. Would you wait, or would you rather go to another station just 100 meters away that you see that is not that much car? I would rather go to the next one. That is because of the efficiency, because of the no delay. So those are the things that being amongst of the variables, amongst of the factors being prioritized by the ship liners, yeah, because they want to be fast, they want to be very quick. Okay, and because the later they are, the slower they are, they need to pay delays. They need to pay they need to pay extra because of the delay to their customers. Yeah. And then, of course, environmental regulation, as I said before, the IMO, they comes out with this, okay, this convention, you need to fulfill the GHG emission reduction, you need to do by 2030 and so on and so forth. Otherwise, you'll be penalized. That is one of the reasons. Number 3, infrastructure and technological limitations. Sometimes the port infrastructure are very outdated because of not enough money. And sometimes difficulty in keeping up with the technological advancement because it's so fast, very, very fast. I just constructed this infrastructure, okay, while constructing it for 2 years, and then we are actually behind the technology for 5 years. Okay, because the technology is the pace is very fast. Yeah, competition and market position. As I told you before, the comparison between, let's say, between Port Klang and the Tanjung Priok. They don't want to go to Tanjung Priok because of for example, I'm not so sure about the depth of the Tanjung Priok because that's never become one of my case study. Yeah, because of the channel depth, or sometimes because of the regulation, the country's regulation. They say, oh, if you are from Nigeria, you want to go to Indonesia, oh, you will get visa exemption, example. Okay, but if you go to Malaysia, you need visa. Okay, something like that. It similarly applies to ports. Whenever you enter a country's port, there are several regulations that you need to follow. Okay, workforce and skill development. Okay, some countries, they have the unskilled, I would rather say unskilled source of workers. Yeah, so this unfortunately impact their inefficiency, the productivity, yeah, the non-productivity of the ports, and of course financial and investment constraints. Okay, I want to give you one example of the. Oh, I have another 20 minutes, but I have more slides. Okay, I'll just be very fast. Okay, I just want to share with you one of the project that I'm currently leading with the WWF. It's 3.8 $1.86 million for a duration of 4 years, 48 months. Okay, we collaborate with the UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, about the nature-centric approach. That is very much about the nature positive engineering solutions that I shared before. So nature-based solution is the term. Okay, NBS, nature-based solution. Maybe later you can start talking about NBS with your classmates or with your colleagues. Yeah, NBS is currently a sexy term. I would say. Yeah? It's used to represent the initiative to protect environmentally, yeah, to restore, to modify the ecosystem in a more natural way. Okay, it's not business as usual. For instance, let's say your business as usual is nature-based solution. When you cut the tree, is business as usual is you just replant a tree. Cut 2 trees, replant another 2 trees, right? That is business as usual. This is more than something that we call as business as usual. For instance, maybe for the mangroves just now, you have you inject that engineering element, okay, the solution, because when you talk about the solution, it's very much engineering. For instance, you make it like mobile mangroves. Have you ever seen mobile mangroves? Means, okay, let's say you have this mangrove at point A, okay, but suddenly it is projected, it is forecasted that the huge wave will be attacking that area on the left. So you move that floating, movable mangroves to that another area. Okay, that is available. You can just Google. Okay. So these are some of the example of the nature-based solution that we do have in our ports in Malaysia. We have the natural and open lands, just an open lands. We add in more vegetations, yeah, where it's actually becomes the catchment areas. Rather than you rely on whatever business as usual, it's just you rely on whatever species. Now you add in a bit more of other relevant species to make it more playing more important proactive role as a catchment area. Bioretention plants, as you can see, they just plant the grass, but specific grass, where it becomes the infiltration, where the process of infiltration means, let's say, any chemical or biological processes that mimic the natural ecology. However, sometimes this grass, they can't even, they only do the impurification is not 100% being done. So this is where you need some engineering elements to add in, okay, as a part of your bioretention plan. And another one is breakwater. Okay, breakwater is the one with you can see the grass. Okay, originally it's just a big boulder, big stones, yeah, that you stack, so that when the wave attacks, okay, they will reduce the strength of the wave. Okay. However, for the nature-based solution, you have to add in a bit of nature by planting the grass on the top. That's it. Yeah? So what's the purpose? You might be asking me, Dr. Shu, what's the purpose of that grass? It doesn't help at all in reducing the strength of the wave. Yes, but its function is actually for the carbon capture. Okay, to net zero. Remember, net zero the carbon that you emitted. So now you have that plants, okay, to net zero it. So this is some of the example. We do have the mangrove Day, the World Mangrove Day on 26th July every year. And as you can see here, this mangrove, this is done by Port Klang. It's not really in Port Klang. It could be in, let's say, in other states in Malaysia, as long as the number of mangrove planted is equivalent to whatever disruption that they have done to the environment. Okay, in fact, to make it even better, you the ports, they collaborate with the indigenous communities. Okay, they plant the trees at the indigenous area and eventually this become owned by the indigenous, where they can become the source of income. Let's, for example, here, this indigenous is actually fishing, okay, around the conducive areas of these mangroves that becomes the source of fishing habitat. Yeah. Next, as I said before, the marine protected areas that we have around 44. When you have the Coral Triangle initiatives, it's a combination of a few countries: Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, Timor-Leste, Papua New Guinea, and also Solomon Island, around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what happens here, when we do have these protected areas, marine protected areas, it becomes the source of the coral reefs becomes the conducive environment for the other fishing or protein, the so-called protein, the source of proteins for the population at this particular area of triangle coral reefs. Yeah? And in fact, in Malaysia, the Coral Reefs initiative we call as COREEF is being implemented at the state level. Here, for example, Sarawak Forestry Corporation, they cooperated with the Bintulu Port authorities to have the Coral Reef protection initiatives by having the how we call it, the coral reef that is man-made. Okay, and some others this is actually not only a part of the protecting the environment, but also it enhance the coastal climate and resilience and driving sustainable innovation towards the success of. Because why I say blue economies, it become the source of income to the people when they could find enough resources from the sea. Okay, and that is why it is important for us to protect the shorelines, to support the fisheries, and also the harbors, not only to be played by the ports players, but also from everyone. Remember, the ocean, the players are not only the ports, they're also tourism, they're also recreation. So we need to take this as being part of the impact, the positive impact to the coastal communities, because remember, their source of income is from the ocean. Okay. And this is one of the example that what we have done in Malaysia. I think this is a very unique, even though it's not really for the sea, but for Malaysia, when we define blue economy, it also involves those river, lakes, any water bodies. So one example that I would like to share with you is this Tagal system. Yeah, Tagal system, as you can see here. They get the ROI, return of investment, up to 290% annually from the aquaculture activities. You can see the fish is so tame. Okay, so tame, so friendly with the with the kid. So what happened was, this tagal system is a very traditional. I'm not sure. I think in your country also you have this traditional system. Okay, maybe it's of different name, or maybe a bit of different practice. So it is divided into 3 zones: yellow, red, and green zone. Red zone is where you cannot do any fishing. Yellow zone, you can fish, but only at certain time. For instance, okay, you can only fish, but only by the villages of that river. Only during, let's say, Christmas, you can do the fishing. And another one is green zone. So what happened, when you have this zone, okay, it becomes a healthy river. Why healthy river? When you don't fish at all at the red zone, the fresh water resource maintained and even increased, because no one ever touched the fish in the red zone. Yeah. So for this Taga system, it increased the freshwater aquaculture by 9.4% annually. First, due to improved water quality because of untouched river, and of course, and because of the no fishing activities at the breeding zone, at the red zone. Okay. I give you another example, case study. This is in Johor, near Singapore. You can see here. This is Malaysia, this is Singapore. You know, it's like you can just walking distance. Okay, but because of its sea, you can't really walk. You have to swim. Okay, so they have 3 rivers here, but the one that is under our study is the Sungai Buloh here. class 3. Why? Because it's the longest, and with the, even though the, in terms of class 4 is the most polluted, okay, means class 3 is not that critical yet. This is very critical because it goes across, it grows along residential area, and it impacts the well-being of the population. So as you can see here, the water is so dark, it's so black. It's not dark, it's black. Very smelly. So what happened? This happened because even though this effluent from the 15 industries discharging their effluents across the Sungai Buloh, even though they are actually complying with the regulation, however, because it's too many and too long, okay, the exposure is too long, accumulated factor from time to time. So it becomes so polluted. So what happened? What is the engineering nature-based solution that we implement is through phytoremediation. Make sure that you pronounce it correctly. Phytoremediation. So what is phytoremediation? Here, you plant the water plant. Okay, for instance, I don't know, any type of water plant. This is actually done by the biologists, botanical engineering. Okay, they are the one who are experts in determining what species of plant to be planted. Okay, and the root is actually the plays the function as the phytofiltration, phytoextraction, phytogradation, phytoextraction, by extracting all the contaminants. Okay, so what happened to the trees? What happened to the plant? You cannot eat. Okay, if you eat, you die, something like that, because it is very polluted. So after certain years, okay, not years, after certain months, they will take it off and dispose, not even giving it to cows or sheep. It must be disposed and plant another phytoremediation plant. Okay. So I give you example of what we're doing at the real one that we've been doing in Kuantan and Kemaman. Okay, this is the area. As you can see here, Kuantan is even smaller compared to Kemaman. But surprisingly, Kuantan is more productive compared to Kemaman. Because of their, maybe the time, the more experience they have, the more experienced workers, the efficiency that they have, the facilities, maybe also the depth of the channel, and so forth, and so on and so forth. So first, they have the eco bulk cargo. That is why even though they are small, they have in bulk cargo ecosystem. Means they, instead of taking only one cargo, they can probably transfer 10 cargoes in one shot, for example. Okay. Next, both in Kuantan and Kemaman, as a part of the nature-based solution, okay, they have the airborne dust barrier. So means, let's say this is on the left is the residential area. So because there are so many lorries, okay, moving here, and of course with dust, by having these airborne dust barriers, it will not allow the dust to be transmitted to the residential area. They also have the road cleaning, okay, the sweeper, and also sometimes the water, okay, to dampen the dust. Perimeter drain, okay, where the water to clean the tire is actually being reused, okay, using this perimeter drain, and also the water is being reused for the washing bay to clean the being the washing facilities for the lorry wheels. And Kemaman, they also tried to keep pace, with whatever productivity that has been achieved by Kuantan. So they have this ship loading handling. Compared to Kuantan just now, that they have a multi cargo transporter, okay, this they have the Kemaman Port, they have the loading handling system using, like, you see, it's like a conveyor belt from one place to another. So what happened when they have this conveyor belt, it will reduce the numbers of lorries being used to transport the cargo. Okay, so when they reduce the numbers of lorries, means reduce emission. They also have this power supply, okay, onshore power supply using the coal ironing. So with this, of course, instead of using fuel, they have this coal ironing power, and hence it reduces the carbon emission during the idle operation. Because, you know, the tugboat, what is tugboat? Tugboat is actually the small boat, okay, when the big vessels is about to arrive, okay, they cannot, this boat, you cannot simply push it like a car, right? So they need two small boats, or sometimes three small boats, we call tugboats, to pull it, okay, to pull it to the ports area, to the harbor areas. So this is where the tugboat, they have to be 24 hours ready. That is why even on idle, they are still using the energy, hence emit the carbon dioxide. So this is where they use the green energy. They also have the wave energy converter. Yes, correct. Means the wave becomes the energy, okay, and then they put in the battery. Okay, they collect it and put in the batteries they can use. Yeah. And other nature positive engineering. Oh, I have another 4 minutes. Another positive engineering practices at Quanta. We also have the, okay, this is very much engineering lah. Okay, it's the finite element analysis. Okay, this is all about the calculation design lah. And also the simple one is the environmental quality monitoring, where you monitor the quality based on the sample on certain time and certain period of time. Yeah. And so ports, because of the pressure, the challenge of money, the challenge of policies, regulations, yeah, also some because of the facilities that they have. This is where the nature positive, carbon neutral facilities or solutions are very much important. Yeah, but it is not being played only by the port operators, port players. No, it should be a concerted effort by also the government should also support this, but also the community should also support by having full, let's say they have that initiative, for example, just now that I said about the mangroves initiative, they should give full support in ensuring that the carbon neutral future is achieved by involving themselves in the activity conducted by the port players. So we come up with the Malaysia nature-based solution when I was in BIMA. We adopt the 8I. What is I? Intellectual capital, infrastructure that I put here. These are something that you can also adopt in your case study. Let's say you are in automotive engineering and you want to reduce the GHG emission by the transport, the transport modes, yeah, in your country. Maybe you can also adopt this, yeah. So first is the intellectual capital, means it's about the people. Yeah, you must make sure that they are skillful. Number two is about infrastructure. Yes, infrastructure needs money, but you can adopt by using the nature-based solution. Interaction, this is where I said you have to include the people, the government, and the women. Infrastructure means you have the data. Just don't keep it yourself. Share it. Make sure it's being shared. The knowledge is being shared. Integrity system, make sure everything is clear, everything is transparent. Incentives, whatever they've done, give some rewards. Yeah, institutional leadership, the government should take the action. Yeah, then, and finally, internationalization. It's not only implemented in Malaysia, but also try to replicate it other place in the world. Like Malaysia, we are still in baby steps. Still a long way to go. Yeah, Chacha, you can see long steps to go. Okay, but at least you give a step. Okay, start a step in ensuring that we are towards the greener future of the ports in Malaysia. So with that, I thank you. I hope I finish it on time. Yes, very much on time, Chacha.
Very much on time. Thank you so much, Miss. Okay. Wait. Okay. Let me share my screen first. Uh,
Thank you, Angelo. Please, not only clap. I need questions.
we already have plenty questions here, Miss.
Oh
Wait, I
yeah.
will help you to read it. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much, Dr. Syuhaida, for the wonderful presentations. So yeah, guys, so this highlights how crucial sustainable ocean management is. By managing our oceans responsibly, we can increase food production and expand renewable energy potential. And also by protecting marine ecosystem is also the key to supporting long-term sustainability and future generations. I personally really love how you present, Miss, because it's very clear and also engaging for us. And I do believe that all of the participants here agree with me. Okay, so I think we will move to the next session, which is the Q&A sessions. So for all of the participants, you can just put you can just type all of your questions on the chat box, or maybe just you can also ask directly to the speaker, and I will help you to give your time to ask the questions. Okay, so maybe we can move to our first questions, Miss. I already saw on the comment. Wait.
Yeah, maybe is the one from Faiza Arisanda.
You
Yeah.
want? No. Actually, the first one is from Abdullah. Miss.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So from Abdullah Tijani,
Many
he
question.
he asked about how does the Malaysia government aim to achieve neutralization by 2050?
Okay, as I said just now, okay, to be frank with you, okay, to be frank with you. Yeah, we do have some proven to be achievable by 2030. But to me, as a Malaysian, I and as also as an academician and also as a scholar, I could see that there are some contradicting policies that we do have. Okay, even though it sounds good on paper. For instance, currently we are encouraging people to use EV. Now, your question, is it only for ports? Abdullah, okay, no, right? Not only for ports, right? Okay. So I give you just a typical example of EV. Yeah? So we are encouraging EV, okay, like China, yeah? But not many, only one China brand is actually entering our market, that is the BYD. Okay? So currently, even Malaysia car, we also have Proton, we also have our EV car. Okay. So we have that exemption here and there, tax reduction if you buy the EV and some promotion here and there. However, despite the fact that they wanted us to use the government wanted us to use the EV. I also have one EV. Okay, I have Tesla. However, you just imagine, I bought the Tesla saying that, oh, okay, maybe I can get, of course, because I'm just traveling within the city. Okay, from how now I'm in my house, in my room. Yeah. So at home to my office is just 4 kilometers. So it's very productive for me to use EV
Ah,
rather than using fuel. Okay, because of I can just charge my EV at home because I'm using solar.
mm,
Okay. However, you just imagine if I want to travel to north part, 400 kilometers, there are not many EV charging across, especially towards the northern part of Malaysia. Not many, not many. Even in my hometown in Perlis, I have only one charger. It's
oh,
not even Tesla supercharger.
ah. Is it only on like on the city center, Miss?
Yeah, it's near alamak, the coffee bean. Yeah, near the coffee bean. You know,
Okay.
the Starbucks. Okay, there's a Starbucks
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there's one station. And it's just a normal charger, which if
Ah,
you want to make sure that it's full, 3 hours, 4 hours. Because if it's supercharger, it's just 45 minutes. Okay?
mm.
Okay, that's another story. The facilities are not there. Not yet there. Number two, that's why it's just a city car to me. It's just a city car. That's why because I have 4 children. So if I want to travel, going hometown, I will use another just normal fuel car. That is number one. Number two, our fuel is very, very cheap compared to Indonesia, for example.
Okay.
Our fuel is highly subsidized. You see
Mm,
this contradicted policy?
yeah.
You reduce the price of the fuel, but you want people to use EV.
Mm,
Would you buy EV if the fuel is cheap?
I don't
Would
know.
you buy EV if the facility is not there?
Yeah, I think I prefer the fuel, the normal one,
Yeah.
than the EV. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, because my office is just 4 kilometers away, that's why I bought the EV. Okay, that is one. But yeah, that's the problem that we do have. Okay, so my answer is actually beyond your question, Abdullah. Those are the things that we are doing. And of course, like single plastic, those are the things that uh, and for your information, when you talk about neutralization, we are the only one in the world that have the carbon exchange. You have the currency exchange, right? You have the money exchange, right? We do have the carbon exchange transaction.
Wow.
Okay, it's the first, and it says that it's be the first and only Sharia compliance. I don't know how Sharia how they calculated it as Sharia compliance, but you can check. It's called KL Kuala Lumpur. Usually we call it as KL Stocks Exchange. This is carbon stocks exchange. Means, let's say I do some um environmental disturbance, okay, by cutting 1,000 trees. 1,000 trees. And
Yeah.
I built this, let's say, shopping mall.
Mm.
But I don't have areas to replant another 1,000 trees. Let's say I don't have areas. I don't have, I do have money, but I ask people, where I can replant these trees, 1,000 trees, but no one wanted to give me the area. Otherwise, okay, you need to buy that area and you need to plant it, and it will cost me so much money. So I don't want to do that. Okay, as a businessman, I don't want to do it. So what I can do is I go to the BCX, Bursa Carbon Exchange. Okay, I said to Bursa, I want to, this is the carbon that I have emitted by cutting 1,000 trees. Now I want to buy the carbon exchange to pay to you, so that you reduce, you netting zero the carbon that I have emitted by paying you the money. That is the function of the BCX. And it's Sharia compliance. Don't ask me how they calculated that. But you can just Google. Okay, thanks, Abdullah. Now let's go to the next question. I hope I answer you, yeah, Abdullah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And hopefully on the other time, hopefully the government will add more EV port. Yeah, miss.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So yes, this next questions from Rifda. First of all, she said, "Thank you so much for Dr. Shaida for the lecture, and it's very insightful. Actually curious about among multiple policies driving Malaysia's decarbonization efforts, which policy do you think has the most significant impact on accelerating carbon neutrality in the port sector, and why?"
Okay, for your information, none of the Malaysian policy that I have discussed just now talk about specifically on ports.
Mm,
None. Okay, they just talk about transportation in general. Because
mm,
of course, port at the national level, they won't be going deeper into a specific, because we are not like you guys. I'm not sure in Indonesia, do you have like maritime, you have Ministry of Transport, right?
yeah.
But there are some countries that they have ministries of maritime,
Okay.
Ministry of Kelautan.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well
okay.
then.
There are some countries who have that. So we don't have that privilege. So when we talk about the transportation policy is very general. Energy policy is very general. Energy across any type of industries.
Mm,
Okay. So when you ask me which is the most effective, the most efficient, is actually the ports, the policy, the individual policies done by the ports, because it's very specific to tackle the need, to tackle the specific challenges that they have faced. But unfortunately, this is my view. Okay, as
okay.
an individual, as a scholar, unfortunately, we have 7 ports. 7 ports come up with 7 individual green policies. Is
Okay, Miss.
that wasting time, wasting energy, wasting money, wasting, you know, they are paying 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, 300,000, 700,000, you know. If you can just gather all together, okay, maybe you can just group it into, one policy, one port policies, okay, and then to come up with the big one, okay. The problems with my Ministry of Transport is because there are too many meals in one plate. You
Mm,
understand? Too many things that they need to focus on. And in comparison, in in Ministry of Transport in Malaysia, we are divided into 3 sectoral: aviation, road, and maritime. In your opinion, which is the most important, which is the focus of the government?
the road for sure.
Why? Why the road?
Because I think that's the more
Because
like
people like us using road,
yeah in daily, yeah.
even the poor people using road.
Yeah.
The poor people might not be using aviation transport. Even we rich people, we might not be using vessels.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
So that's why the focus of the government is on the road transport, road accident, road GHG emission. So that is why not so much being focused. The efforts by the Malaysian government is on the maritime, on the shipping. Yet we need the concerted efforts. At least we need one leader to concert all these 7 ports, Malaysian ports, federal ports, to work together and pull in money to come up with one solid policy that when we can mainstream, that's the word I want to use, mainstream at the government level, not at the port level. It must be mandated at the port level, at the ministry level. Nowadays, ministry, they don't have money. They are not that much focused on the maritime. However, maritime, they have money. So just put in one and directed by the government. That's my point of view lah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss. I hope that answering your questions, Rifda. And for the next question, maybe we can have Mr. Abdullah here to ask directly to the speaker. I think he very curious about the other questions. You may unmute your mic, your audio. You can you may speak now, Mr. Abdullah, if you want to ask.
I
Okay.
think he mistakenly.
Ah,
Yeah, I think
hello,
so.
hello, good morning.
Yeah,
Good
good
morning.
morning.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, good morning. Good morning.
Okay,
I'm
you can ask
greeting
me.
you here from Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay.
Yes, so please, we are currently facing network challenges.
Uh-huh. Oh, network. I can't really
Okay.
okay. Oh, I have been losing connection. Okay, okay, okay. Understood. I think it's also recorded, right, Chacha? Is it
It's correct.
recorded? So maybe you can just uh maybe they can just share with you the recorded one.
Sure. Okay, maybe we can move to the next question. It's from Faiza Risanda. The question is, Miss, for the Tagal system has shown positive impacts on freshwater ecosystem and local communities.
Mhm.
So, may I know your point of view about how can the principles of the Tagal system can adapted or scaled to support nature positive practices in Malaysia's port and coastal areas? Thank you, Miss.
Oh, they have actually. We do have the same Tagal system, but I can't remember what's the name. But it's not yet proven successful at the national level. Okay, what they do is they do at the deep sea water, deep sea water. They have the, oh, I can't remember what's the name. It start with the M. Okay, but they have, oh, I can't remember the name. Allahu Akbar. They have like a pool of cage, three pools of cage. They do have in Indonesia. Okay, Allah, mariculture. Okay, can you please Google mariculture? Okay, Mariculture. Okay, it's a mariculture. It's a deep water. It's actually being started by the Chinese government. They have the dedicated pond, the so-called pond in the coastal area, where they breed the specific types of species, whatever species that they want, in one pool. Okay, with the conducive coral species, whatever you want in there, so that they can provide enough resources, enough enough environment, I would say conducive environment for the ecosystem. And that is where they have that currently in Sabah. Because why? Mariculture, they need deep water. In in the Peninsular Malaysia, we don't have deep water compared to Sabah and Sarawak. Okay, I believe Indonesia, you also have deeper water compared to us. Yeah, but maybe because of the ports, when you develop the ports, it's not at that deeper channel area. Okay, so this is where, if you ask me about if what are the tagal system that has been adopted, it's actually in terms of that mariculture, but it's not really having like three red, yellow, or green. It's totally red. Totally red. Means it's untouchable, meaning people, fishermen, they cannot do any fishing there. Yeah. Otherwise, you will get penalized. The penalty will be there. So that is one of the things that we're doing at our coastal area.
Mm. Okay, thank you so much, Miss, for answering the questions. Maybe for the last questions, I also have another questions. Miss, among the five trusts of the National Transport Policy from 2019 to 2030, which trust is the most critical in supporting the green and sustainable port development in Malaysia? And how can it be effectively implemented at the port level?
To me, not only distrust. I think I have repeated it throughout my presentation just now. It's actually the drive by the government.
Okay.
So if you see the trust, yeah, trust, can I share it back?
Yeah, sure. Maybe you have about like 1 to 2 minutes to
Oh, I cannot share. I cannot share now.
wait.
Oh,
Okay, you may share.
okay, just 1 minute, just 1 minute. Okay, can you see the slides?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Clearly.
yeah, even we put trust one. It's about the governance. Because you won't do anything if there is no pushing factor. Okay, I won't buy the EV car if the government said at that time the fuel will be increased. At that time, they said that the fuel will be increased. I mean, the global fuel will be increased. Okay, and number two, they said that, oh, we'll give you exemption, tax exemption if you buy EV car. So that's why I make a decision to buy the EV car. It's because the direction, the narrative by the governments of the day that make you make the decision. Just like IMO. IMO says, okay, you have to reduce by 2030. So everyone in the whole wide world, we are also struggling. Oh, how to reduce this? If let's say IMO didn't say anything, you will just do business as usual, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's my answer. Very short answer because I have only 1 minute. Okay.
Thank you so much, Miss. Okay, I think we'll go back to the. Okay, we're running out of time. I think we're going to end the Q&A session for now. I actually believe, Miss, that the participants still want to know more about this topic, but hopefully we can meet again to discuss also about the other topics. Okay, next, we move to the group photo session. So I would like to call all of the participants to open your camera and also to use our virtual background that already provided and can be downloaded on the chat box. Okay. Okay, I will wait for about a minute to make sure that all of the participants can open their camera.
Angelo, are you from Philippines? Ah. Mr. Sabah, your face is upside down.
Yeah. I think today we have we add so many insight, Miss.
Oh, we have 71. Just
Yeah,
now
we have 71.
53.
I mean, along the time, they keep, I mean, like the participant keep getting more and more.
Ah, okay, that's great. Maybe next time I can talk about construction.
Yeah, for sure, Miss.
Or maybe women.
And also about this one, Miss. Wait.
Or tech.
OTEC, yeah, Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion. Yeah. Okay. I think 15 seconds. Okay, I will try to. Oh, sorry. Okay, I will try to start the screenshot. Okay, please everyone pause. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then for the next slide, 1, 2, 3.
Thumbs up, everyone. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait for the next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And I think later, my college will send the the attendance link to so that all of you guys can fulfill. Okay. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Syuhaida, and all of the participants for joining today's international webinar. We hope that the insights shared about nature positive engineering practices at Malaysia's port towards carbon neutrality have been valuable and also enriching. But before I close the event, do you have anything to say to the participant, Miss?
Hope to see you guys in my upcoming, if I were to be invited once again. I hope you guys enjoying my talk, and at least you get some knowledge or information that you can bring back and share with your friends. Hopefully it's a fruitful one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss. Thank you so much for your time. And also Shafakila for you, Miss. And we hope that we can see you at another time. Thank
Yes.
you so much, Miss.
Thank you.
See you. And thank you so much for all the
Thank you.
participants.
Bye. Thank you, and have a nice and enjoyable Saturday and Sunday weekends. Okay, bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Doctor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
attendance.
you. Thank
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu. Do
Bye.
oitashimashite.
Wakarimashita.
Bye.
Maraming salamat po.
That one I don't know. I don't only know salamat po.
In Philippines.
Magandang umaga.
Oh,
Okay, bye. Thanks,
thank
everyone.
you so much, Miss. Have a good day.
Makanan.
And don't forget, guys, to also fulfill the attendance link. Okay, you may check on the chat box. My friends already give the link. Okay. Okay, once again, thank you so much for joining our today's webinar, and see you guys on the other event.